Trigger warning. Hi, Laborhood family. This is Bria. Before we start today's episode, Shay and I want to give a quick heads up. This episode entitled, You're Not Okay, and That's Okay, covers postpartum depression and some of the challenges parents face. If you might find this topic distressing, please consider taking care of yourself and listening when you feel ready. Remember, seeking help from a professional is important, and if you need immediate intervention, you can call the hotline at 988. Your well-being is important to us at the Laborhood. Thank you, and let's get started with today's episode.
Don't feel like you're overstepping.
No.
If you know someone, don't feel like you're overstepping because you would much rather err on the side of precaution and get in there early than...
And they will thank you on the other side of it.
Absolutely. Because they might be like, I just didn't know how to tell anybody. Yeah. I just didn't know how to tell anybody.
Or I didn't know how to recognize it and couldn't.
Or I didn't want to.
Or
they didn't want to. Or they didn't want to because they felt like they needed to uphold some standard. Yep. Some standard that they had even sometimes just set for themselves. Sometimes nobody else held them to that standard. They held themselves to it. They held themselves to it.
If you are someone or know someone who may be suffering from postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, or even just intrusive thoughts with suicidal ideations, the number is 988. And try and get some help.
Yeah.
Hey, Laborhood gang, we are so grateful for all of you to tune in and make this podcast so special. That's right. We truly appreciate your support, and we wanted to let you know about a way you can take that support to the next level. Absolutely. You can now become a supporter of the Laborhood Podcast by pledging a monthly reoccurring amount. You can help us continue our mission to advocate for and support birthing persons and their families. It's super easy to do. Just visit our website at www.thelaborhoodpod.com or check the description of this episode for the link. Your contributions help cover the cost of producing this podcast, reaching more people, and making a positive impact in maternal health care. So, if you're a person in a position to become a supporter, we would greatly appreciate it. Every little bit goes a long way. And remember, you're not just supporting the podcast and us, you're helping us create a safer and better birth experience for many people. Thank you for considering it, and thank you for being a part of the Laborhood family. Now let's dive into today's episode.
Hey guys,
Welcome back to the Laborhood.
Welcome back.
Welcome to the Laborhood.
We're gonna do we might do like a staggered.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna work on it. We're gonna keep working on it and just different variations. Y'all let us know which one you like, and that's the one we'll stick with. But welcome back, guys. My name is Bria. I am your nationally certified inpatient obstetrics registered nurse.
And I'm Shay. I'm your board certified nurse midwife
and we are your
labor and
hosts.
delivery nurse.
Yeah, period. Because listen, once a nurse, always a nurse.
Always.
But
it's actually
welcome.
in the title. I'm a certified nurse midwife. I still have to keep my RN
Inpatient
license
obstetrics nurse.
Yep.
Still a nurse.
Still a nurse.
But welcome back, guys.
Welcome back.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Back.
You know, here we are now.
You might see somebody new.
Who's very special, sitting sandwiched in between me and Shay. We have a very, 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 very special guest here with us today. This is our friend, the
One
incomparable.
Yes. Incomparable. Yes.
Oh, yeah. You are one of a kind, truly. This is our friend, Miss Desmaine Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Round of applause.
So Des is sorry, I didn't say her whole name. So we call her Des. So if you hear that, that's her name.
It's Des.
Yeah.
Desmaine is here with us today on the Laborhood because we have a very intricate episode
Yes.
ahead of us. We do want to preface this with the trigger warning. We will be discussing some things that might be a little hurtful to talk about. With with not just Desmaine, but other people as well. And so, well, Des, just tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Yep.
All those things.
I'm Desmaine.
Mhm.
I am a recovering labor and delivery nurse.
Not recovering.
I currently work in a clinic, like a maternity clinic right now in Gifford County. I still see the ladies and the babies, but I just don't help deliver them. I'm also inpatient obstetrically certified. Just
Yes,
completed
she
that,
is.
and that's a
Did
beast.
your renewal?
A beast.
Listen,
50 hours. Good luck.
it was so hard. So hard. Thankfully, I got another 2 years left to figure it out again.
Girl.
Listen.
And I am a mom of 2. I have an 11-year-old and now almost a 2-year-old.
Luka Buka. He's
I
so
know.
cute. He's so
We're on our no phase right now, so we're working through it. But that's me in a nutshell. I'm just me.
That's fine.
And
She's
that's all
also
you
very
have to be.
creative, guys.
Yes. Yes.
Very, very creative.
Absolutely.
So, like you said, you are a mom of 2. Your youngest is almost 2, so he's almost a teenager. Almost a teenager.
Definitely.
So today's episode, we're gonna really dive a little into something that kind of has a stigma attached to it that a lot of people don't like to talk about, because for some people it's just they like to forget it and they like to not remember the time that they were going through that,
Or didn't know that that's what they were going through and couldn't label it.
until they came out on the other side and
Yeah.
they look back and it was like,
You know what?
that's what that was. Yeah, that was
That's what that was.
Yes. So today, we're gonna be talking about postpartum depression. And how there is levels to this.
Cause the levels to the shit. Yeah. Cause the levels to the shit. Levels to the shit.
Anyway, so we're gonna talk about postpartum depression and your journey and how you got through it, and the signs and symptoms, things to look for in your new mom friends that maybe they don't know and they don't recognize that they're going through themselves, but you can now recognize them. And the hope is that you
Approach them with kindness.
yes, and offer some help, whether
Right.
that's help from you or help from someone else, that has a bit more accolades to
I was
help.
going to say experience with bringing people out from the other
Yes.
side. Yeah.
Yes. So how do you want to start? Do you want to tell your story first, or do you want to?
I'm
You
down
know-
for whatever.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
What's easiest?
We can kind of just like run it through so people know when she gets to parts that need to be talked about. They kind of know.
All
what
right,
they're
let's
talking
do it.
about.
Let's do it. So postpartum depression, of course, you have this baby, and for 30, hopefully 5, 6, 7 plus weeks, your body has had these hormones that are circulating through your body, much higher levels than your body has ever been used to. And then you have this baby, and these hormones be shaking the table. Just,
Yes,
they kind of
yes.
you have this huge hormone shift. And if you've ever, think it's like when your period comes on, you get that hormone shift, but this is like times
10.
a billion.
Yeah.
And so you have this shift, like
All of your happy hormone kind of just goes away.
It's like a light switch. Like when you get up to go to use the bathroom in the middle of the night and it's really, really dark, and you turn on that light switch and you're like, oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how
That's a great description.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So a hormone shift is normal, but sometimes your body and your mind is like, girl,
I don't know
what's going on in here, but this ain't right. This is not right, and we got to figure something out.
Yep.
So like I said, there are different you can call them tiers of postpartum depression. So we can start off with this first tier, which I think a lot of people know about, is the baby blues.
Yes.
Baby blues actually affects a lot of people.
A lot of women. It's very common.
Yes,
for
I
baby
think it's
blues.
like 50 to 75% of women experience baby blues.
Yeah.
So that is the majority.
Wow.
The
There's a lot of
majority of
people.
women.
Yeah.
And it usually occurs like within that first week going home.
Even my
Like,
mom had baby blues. And that was back in 92.
My grandma talked about it.
Yeah.
That was back in 99.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell you age. Grandma.
Yes. So what you might see within the baby blues is these prolonged bouts of crying, but you don't know why. You just crying. My mama said that's how she described it. She said I just sat and she's like I would just cry for no reason. Anxiety,
yes.
sadness.
Yes.
But it's not a sad occasion. It's
Yeah,
like
no.
I'm supposed to be happy, but I just can't pull it. Like I
Yeah.
just can't pull it together.
But I mean, you got to think about what's happening in the body.
Yeah.
All of your happy hormone that was maintaining this pregnancy is now out the window with your placenta.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just feel overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you just can't quite pull it together.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing with baby blues is that within those first 2 weeks, even without treatment, the baby blues should subside.
Yes.
Because your body is like, okay, getting our footing again, because we were stumbling there for a while, but we kind of got our footing, and these hormone levels are working their way towards normalizing.
Yes. Yes.
So that's a good, I guess, timeline for people who are on the outside looking in. That okay, 2 weeks
All right.
has gone by. We're knocking into week 3 and 4, and you're still not better.
Right.
Yeah.
Because now we are no longer in baby blues. We have
This
made it
is-
to that next point,
Yeah.
which is actual postpartum depression. So postpartum depression we see in that 2 to 4 week mark. Like I said, we've made it past the second week. We're out of the baby blues timeline, and now we have transitioned over into postpartum depression. And postpartum depression affects 1 in 7 women.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend group is like 10, so 1 in 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a 30% increase if you've had it in prior pregnancies.
Yes. Yes.
So if you had it with the first one,
There's a high
there's a
chance.
higher chance you're gonna have it with the second one.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have it with the second one.
You also have a higher risk if you are under the age of 21.
Which is so. 21-year-old me, having a baby. You mean to tell me there's something mentally is gonna happen on top of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see how people lose it.
Check,
Truly.
please.
I could, yeah, I could see how people are like, you know what? Nah,
Not for me.
Yeah. Nah,
Not for
nah,
me.
I'm out.
Yes.
I'm out. I cannot do this. So I could see 31-year-old me could see how it's like, girl,
I'm not.
I'm about to get on out of here. Like I'm gonna get on out of here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get on out of here.
You're also 2 times more likely to have it if you are a woman of color.
Well, we just cannot catch a break.
We just.
Damn, we can't catch a break.
Hey there, wonderful listeners. It's Bria here, one of your hosts for the Laborhood Podcast, and we've got some incredible news to share with you today. The Laborhood is now proudly a Kindred Bravely ambassador. But what's Kindred Bravely, you ask? Well, let me tell you about this amazing company that's all about supporting moms just like you. Kindred Bravely is a brand built on love. Love that's poured into every single piece of clothing they create. Their meticulously designed clothes are here to make your journey through motherhood a little easier, from the bump to breastfeeding and beyond. Because let's face it, mama, you deserve to look and feel great all the time. Kindred Bravely understands that, and they're here for you every step of the way. Now, here's the exciting part. We have a special offer just for you, our incredible community. When you shop with Kindred Bravely using our unique code, you'll get an amazing 15% off your purchase. That's right, 15% off. So how do you claim this offer? It's simple. Just visit and use our code Laborhood P15 and shop till you drop. At checkout, be sure to use the unique code Laborhood P15 to unlock those savings.
The odds are stacked against you a bit.
Yes,
the odds are stacked against you just a bit. But that's why we're here. That's why we're here. We're gonna shine a light on this thing so that, again, if you have someone that you see is just like,
maybe you're not okay.
This ain't you. This ain't you. But we're gonna help you out. So, and the thing about, I think people think postpartum, after 6 weeks, girl, you ain't postpartum no more.
Girl.
That's not true. Symptoms can appear 1 week up to a year.
Yes.
Up to a year. You got a walking,
postpartum
talking
period.
You got
is
a
up to
walking,
year.
talking infant, and still you're just like,
I still ain't got it together.
still ain't got it together. But again, that's why we're here to talk about these things, because, you know, you hear people talk about, after she had that baby, she just was not the same. Well,
duh.
yeah. She probably,
Something happened.
Yeah, she needed. So, some of the signs and symptoms you may see are alternating highs and lows. Frequent crying still. Kind of like the baby blues, but let's add a little more onto it. Irritability, guilt, anxiety, that inability to care for you and baby. You know, you hear women talk about that disconnect. Like,
yes, like they don't.
I knew that was my baby.
Attachment.
Yeah, I knew that was my baby, and like I loved it, but I just could not build that bond. You know, you hear, oh my God, the moment I saw you, I knew you were. And some women are just like, girl, I knew it was mine, but like, ugh.
It's hard.
You just could not build that bonding attachment. But you have to think about the hormones. Building that attachment comes from that happy hormone. And if the happy hormone ain't there, baby, we can't be happy, okay? It's just the levels are not where they're supposed to be, and you physically cannot build that bond that you're supposed to.
Right.
And I think that guilt adds on to the guilt you were already feeling, because it's like, I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be loving this baby, but I feel guilty because I can't. Not knowing that physically you just cannot right now. And it's not anything that you did wrong. Right. It's not anything that you can help right now, because that probably at that point you don't even know what it is. Yeah. All you know is like, I'm supposed to be happy and loving this baby, but I can't. And now I feel bad because I should be feeling this way. Yeah. There are women who want this life. And, you know, again, it just, that perpetual anxiety and that perpetual guilt just starts to, in your mind is just playing over and over, which is just not.
Yeah. And then also a lot of women who have postpartum depression, they start to have irrational fears about things that happen outside of the home. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't go out because this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Or this person can't touch my baby because they're thinking this way and can hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's a normal sense of anxiety and fear that occurs that happens with a baby, but when it starts getting, I'm thinking about what you may possibly do to my child, it's starting to get a little bit excessive, especially when you know that there are people that you trust with your child, but you can't let them come around.
The anxiety and the fear just will not let you think otherwise. Right. Will not let you think otherwise. And so, greater than 3 weeks and taking those symptoms with postpartum depression and adding on like those more severe signs and symptoms, we kind of start to work our way into postpartum psychosis.
Yes.
Which is the most severe form of postpartum depression.
Absolutely.
It affects 1 in 1,000, which is,
depending on what scope you're looking at it, like,
think about,
it's pretty huge.
Think about the hospitals that we worked in that care for over 5,000.
There's at least 5 or 6 mamas in that bunch.
And postpartum psychosis is a medical emergency. Yes, that's just our hospital. Now multiply that by the hospitals all across the country. State.
Well, even
and then go across the country. That's a lot.
That's a lot of women.
That's a lot of women. And postpartum psychosis is a medical emergency. This is not something that you just simply be like, maybe she'll want to, we'll give it some time. You can't give it time. We have given it enough. Yeah. We have given it enough time. Yeah. We need to seek medical attention because this is an emergency. The symptoms occur quickly, lasting a few months.
Yeah.
Well, starting at a few weeks, even going into a few months. You start to see severe agitation, confusion, feelings of hopelessness and shame, insomnia, delusions or hallucinations.
Yes.
You have that paranoia, that rapid speech and mania where they're just like going,
Rapid fire,
going.
but like not making complete sentences.
sense.
Yes.
Not making sense.
And when they start to vocalize those intrusive thoughts, that's like a telltale sign. And you should probably get your partner.
Do not pass
Let's
go.
go.
Do
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
collect 200.
And it's gonna, because that, that's not that person. And it's like, I don't want to, like check her into,
Get her the help that she needs.
Get her the help that she needs, because I promise you, on the other end of that, on the other side of that, she is going to thank you, and you are going to thank yourself.
Yes.
Save a life.
I know,
And probably multiple lives.
multiple lives, absolutely.
Hey there, Laborhood gang. It's Shay, one of your co-hosts from the Laborhood Podcast. We absolutely love our community, and this season we're excited to drop some amazing new pieces for the Laborhood shop. We've got everything from cozy t-shirts, handy tote bags, to stylish dad hats, and even bucket hats. Plus, check out our Tumblr stickers and buttons to show off your Laborhood pride. And you cannot forget about a listener favorite. It's our free, that's right, I said free, birth preferences checklist, a special digital download to help you get organized for delivery. We're also rolling out a special line just for birth workers, our way of celebrating those who make a difference every day. Now, merchandise will be dropping throughout the season, so if you see something you love but it's not on the website yet, don't worry, it's on the way, we promise. The best way to stay updated, you ask? Join our email list for the latest drops and exclusive access, of course. Our Season 3 collection starts dropping on June 11th, so head over to our shop at thelaborhoodpod.com, grab your favorite items, and wear your Laborhood pride loud and proud. Thanks for being an amazing part of the Laborhood community. Now let's get back to the show.
So we've kind of like gone through what these different tiers of postpartum depression look like, what they might sound like. Why don't you tell us your story?
Yikes, where do I start? I don't know. So let's just start from like the middling part, the labor part, right? So I had been having some hard labor, not necessarily hard labor, but I've been in pain for like 3 days. And I was like, you know what? Take me to the hospital, give me a cocktail of something, and send me back home. I don't got to stay here, but this has got to stop somewhere. So I go in, me and my wife, we go in, get some medication, think I'm gonna go home, but I don't. I get admitted because I had really, really high blood pressure. And go in, get my epidural, I'm resting, get woken up, say, hey, your blood pressure's not changing, your baby's not doing good, let's go to the OR. So we go to the OR. Mind you, I'm a labor and delivery nurse. Everybody, I'm just like, okay, what's next? All right, I'm good. Through the whole process, all I kept saying was, I'm good, it's okay, I'm good, it's okay. So fast forward to about week 3 of postpartum. The beginning, well, actually, fast forward to week 1, we had just moved into a new house. All of my friends graciously came to move us into this house and get us all ready. But I realized, like, so certain feelings were blunted, but also I had a higher level of anxiety. But I was like, okay, so maybe this is just baby blues. I would just randomly get in the shower and just stand there and just cry, just because. And then I kept trying to talk myself out of the idea that maybe something was wrong. So week 3, I was in the shower doing my normal nightly crying jack. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm just grieving over my birth plan that I had in my mind. I had totally talked myself out of the idea that maybe I had postpartum depression. Mind you, I suffer from moderate depression disorder prior to all of this. So at this time, like week 4, I'm giving my baby a bath. We're in the bathroom. I'm in there with him. And this thought in my head where I never have had these types of thoughts in my head was like, wonder what it would be like if he just kind of slid under the water, or you slid under the water. What would happen? What do you think people would do?
An intrusive thought for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like the thoughts went from like, oh, Cinderella bouncing around to the evil queen. I thought about driving myself off a bridge a couple of times. I had these moments where it's like almost in my head there was a plan, but there was also like this something over here like, hey, that's not right.
That's not okay.
That's not right. So probably, end of week 4, I finally told my wife, and I reached out to my friend, and I was like, hey guys, so I think something is wrong. I'm having these thoughts, and I just want you to know I don't feel like I'm a danger to my baby or myself, but I need other people to know just in case I slide from here somewhere else.
To a different, darker place.
Because being a labor and delivery nurse, we all know the warnings and all of that. So I was just like, I love this child, even though I wasn't connecting as much. And I was so scared and I was so nervous just about everything that I was like, okay, he needs to be okay and I need to be okay. So finally, like probably after I spoke with my wife and my friends, like me and my wife got into like this disagreement where she was like, hey, why don't you want to go somewhere else for somebody higher up, like you guys said, to help? Because I'm worried about you. You're not you. You don't shine anymore. You don't sparkle. Sometimes you laugh. You're just kind of there. And I'm worried.
Like a shell.
Yeah.
So I went to a therapist, and they gave me some wonderful medication, and it was like kind of like the dimmer was being like turned up every couple of weeks as I was going through the therapy and working through work and dealing with postpartum like high blood pressure after having preeclampsia and all of those things. And that's most of the story. I'm not going to get too deep into the nitty gritty because I'm already kind of feeling a little weepy. So
That's fine.
it's okay.
That's fine. Tell the parts that you want to tell for sure. Tell the parts that you want to tell.
But it was the turning point was when I was driving to work. I was like, I know this bridge and it's here and I can drive off of it, but I wonder how long it would take people to find my car, and we still have this car payment. So it was just
that
crazy cycle of
crazy
like,
cycle
thoughts.
of like, am I forming a plan? And it was really weird because it was so disjointed, because it was like it was happening, but there was something else back here that was like, are you forming a plan? Do you know what's happening? Hey.
Because we know what we do for people who form a plan.
Exactly.
72 hours. 72-hour group site vacation.
Involuntary. The alarm bells were like tinkling, but I also was just like,
your other thoughts were louder than the alarms.
So it took a while. It took a while for me to ask for help. And I did, like, I'm a Leo. I'm really independent. Like, I don't normally like to ask for help. So it was really, really difficult for me to ask for help. But like I said, I just found the two safest people that I could think of. If my wife is not going to be there, who else do I normally automatically go to if it's not my mom? Like, and those are the two people that I had to reach out to, because those are the two people who I know if something did happen, I would probably send something to.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Wow. And that's my first time hearing your story, because I knew, which is why obviously we had you on the show, but like I didn't know like your full story. And it's so interesting because I think we as Black women, of course, when you talked about like, am I forming a plan? Like, we don't want that stigma to follow us. Like, girl, she on
right. She on that stuff.
Yeah, she gotta be with. They had to put her on meds. She put on nerve pills.
Right.
Boy, if that ain't no Southern country. They had to put on nerve pills. Now she on nerve pills.
For the rest of your life.
Yeah. And you don't, that stigma that follows that, quote unquote diagnosis. But I would much rather hear this than a headline.
Yes.
I'd much rather hear this than a headline, because then you read the headlines and it's like, gosh, somebody saw something before we got here. Somebody saw something. Somebody heard her say something before we got here.
Right. And it's so crazy because I remember talking to your wife and she was just like, she's not here. Like, I would check on you. Like, hey, you okay? Blah, 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 blah. But I distinctly remember having a conversation with your wife, and she was like, the person that I know that I fell in love with is not there. And I don't know how to get her out of it.
Yeah.
But it was good for her to recognize that.
Yeah.
And that's why we talk about having support people. Have your support people that know you before this baby.
Yeah.
Because those are the people who are going to recognize when things are off.
Yeah.
After this baby.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Try not to get to it.
Yeah, for sure. So when I know you talked about like that when you got to where you are in your car.
Yep.
You're talking about that bridge.
Yep.
Is that when you knew like,
Yeah.
this might be a little more than I want to admit.
Yeah.
So you said, were you in therapy prior to this?
So I had actually done a couple of different therapy sessions, but I couldn't find a counselor that I gelled with. So I was actually not in therapy around this time. Of course, just for general health, y'all, I'm happy in my marriage, but we have a marriage counselor where we would go like once a month just for like general relationship checkups and making sure, you know, we're flowing the way we need to flow. I had that, and sometimes she would make little comments, but not directly be like,
I think you
"Sis,
should.
it's time."
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't have an active therapist at the time. All I knew was what the signs were, what to look for, and even with my moderate depression disorder, I think maybe one time in my life or twice I thought about like ending things, and those were around some big serious like grief moments, like losing a grandmother or losing a friend or ending or like a really long relationship or things like that. So it was nothing ever happy. You know, the big thing was never something happy that was changing. So, and even then, I didn't necessarily have a plan. I was just always like, what if it ended today?
Right.
When the plan started forming, I was like, who's in there?
Yeah. Because this is not me.
Yeah.
This is not me.
Hey there, Laborhood listeners. It's Bria, one of your co-hosts from the Laborhood Podcast. We're thrilled to introduce our new partner this season, Mom Cozy. Mom Cozy is all about empowering moms with comfort and quality. Since 2017, they've been creating high-quality maternity and nursing products designed for moms in mind. From their innovative breast pump bras to a full range of cozy maternity items, they're dedicated to making motherhood a bit easier and more comfortable. And guess what? We've got a special offer just for you. Use code THELABORHOOD for 10% off purchase, or click the link in today's episode description. That's right, 10% off on products that make you feel understood and supported when you use code THELABORHOOD at momcozy.com. So head over to momcozy.com/thelaborhood to get your discount today. Thanks for being part of the Laborhood community. And now, let's get back to the show.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Gotcha. How hard was it to like go to somebody and be
I was
like,
gonna say seek help. Like, what was that like for you to?
Y'all know me.
yeah.
Y'all know me. I'll be like, I'm gonna drink this tea. I'm gonna try this first.
A tea connoisseur.
Yes.
Okay, a tea connoisseur.
Yes.
It was very hard. Like very, very hard. Like to the point where I wouldn't even want to journal in my journal because I knew if I went back to read my journal, I'd be like, sis, you need help. Like I was
Putting them words on that paper hit different.
Yeah, it does.
It hits different when you put it on that paper.
Okay, hold on. Sidebar. Y'all know I like to journal.
Yeah.
Because paper cannot judge you.
That part.
That paper is not gonna say, girl, you know you shouldn't have did that. Or
Right.
girl, you need help.
Right.
I mean, it's good and bad, but
Postpartum depression told me my paper was gonna judge me.
And see, and but that's very recognizable. But I say that to say, like, people who feel like they can't talk their emotions out, get a journal.
Yep.
Because
important.
even sometimes you just putting it on paper, it's freeing. And it relieves so much
when I
that you are
am
carrying
going through and
around.
have just a bunch of tabs open that I just feel like I cannot close, I will pull out that journal in a heartbeat because I'm like, okay, we need to just put it on paper. And a lot of times when I'm saying it in my head, I can't quite find the words.
Right.
But once I start writing, it kind of becomes more fluid. And it's easy for me to write those emotions out.
Yes. Yep.
Much easier for me to write those emotions out. And even in like my spiritual like walk, sometimes I feel like my prayers can become a bit surfacey and like redundant. It's like, oh, thank you for this day. Thank you for, life, health, and strength. Thank you for my friends and thank you. But it's like, I know like deep in there, I was like, there's a little more I want to say in this prayer. But sometimes my words just do not form. And it's like, okay, I have a separate journal. But like, okay, I just need to write this prayer out today. And it's like, as soon as I put amen, it's like,
feels so much better.
That's better. It's like, okay, that's better. Like, I can feel that weight just kind of lift because there truly was something that I just could not form with my mouth. That
Or
when
even like your mind.
Can't form it.
Right.
Can't form it.
Scrabble.
Yes. And when you write it, it's just like, okay, that's what I've been trying to say for like the past week. I just could not, like you said, just my words just would not form. I kind of feel like everybody should have a postpartum journal.
I agree. Let's make that
We'll
happen.
put that in treatment. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, because, like you said, when you didn't want to put it on paper because you knew if you look back, you'd be like, yeah, this was the day.
Yeah.
This was the day
Yep.
that I probably should. This was 3 weeks ago, but this was the day. I probably should have been like, yes.
I should probably get somebody.
We should probably find somebody. We should probably find somebody.
Yeah.
So I guess when you went to your therapist, what did that treatment look like for you? Was it, I know some people are super like, I don't want to be on meds, but like,
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so I went in and I did my assessment with my therapist, and she was like, the first therapist that I had in this system was really awesome. She was just like, I'm going to be really real with you, Desmaine. If you decide that you don't want to take any medication, the risk of you ending your life, someone else's life, or your child's life is really high based upon all of the assessments that I had completed. I was already hearing the voices. So the next step I would have slid right into that psychosis, and it would have just been the end.
Because that volume would have turned all the way up. And it would have, that one little thing that you had back there, it would have been gone. It would have been gone.
It would have been gone.
Yeah.
So she was like, so we can do therapy. I know you really aren't wanting to be on meds and having to wean yourself off of certain types of meds. We can start low and move from there. And I was like, okay, cool. So I got put on Zoloft and hydralazine for anxiety. Zoloft, it helped. It kind of quieted the other voice that I didn't know who it belonged to, and allowed for the
like rational
voice to come forward. But I'm gonna be totally honest with y'all. It took probably until my son was 1 year and 6 months, and he's gonna be 2 in April, for me to actually walk outside after being weaned off of Zoloft, for me to say, the sun is shining.
The tank is clean.
The sun is clean. The tank is clean. Yeah. Yeah, it took a long time, and I realized if I had just been like, no, I'm not going to take this med, I'm just going to do therapy, you can lie to your therapist. It's actually pretty easy to do. Coming from a person who has lied to a therapist. It's okay for you to be like, listen, I don't agree with meds. I don't agree with this. And I'm not trying to push the med agenda, but if you've reached kind of like that moderate going towards severe, just try it. Just take a little
something.
A little something to see how it makes you feel. And then work with your therapist from there, because like I said, had I not, I would have been I wouldn't be here. I'd be somewhere else. Either in a facility or
Grippy socks.
yeah.
Or
Good grippy socks.
Or wings. Grippy socks. Or wings. Yeah.
put you on a t-shirt.
Yeah. And you know,
Oh, I'm actually
I don't wanna
really
think about
glad
it.
that you're
I'm so
here.
glad you're still here with us. Oh, Lord.
Yikes.
I honestly didn't know it was that hard for you because you were lying to me too.
Yeah, it was very hard.
I'm sorry.
It was very hard because I was just like, I'm supposed to be the happy friend.
Yeah.
To help everybody be okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not okay.
Yeah.
So-
Did you feel like you had to portray like the strong
Yeah.
The strong friend.
Yep.
this is my I'm the wife, this is my house, I have to take care of the wife, the kids, the home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I not say anything about the fact that it was falling apart and like emotionally for me, not like actually.
Yeah. I could see it.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm so glad you're here to tell your story because I am certain that there are so many people out there that are just
Yes.
like that. Let me tell you, I don't even have a kid, and sometimes the intrusive thoughts be like, what if I just don't hit my brake at this red light? You know, like
Yes.
those moments.
Yes.
yes, I mean, it's very quick, but it's like,
Where did that come from?
yeah, you'd be like, girl, hit your brake. What are you doing? What? Yeah. Or like, if I like go off this bridge with my car laying right side up, you know, just like very.
What would I do? Do I have a knife to cut myself out?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't swim. You will drown. Girl, you will drown. Like that's what's going. You will drown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, you know, just a
Or even like
normal person can just be
Yeah.
like, ooh, the intrusive thoughts kind of be.
Yeah.
They be kicking in.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like,
whoa,
if I
girl,
just
that's
took
dark.
one
come
too
up right in
many
that little
Tylenol.
dark.
Yeah. Like.
I've been there. Like
Like-
if I'm taking my meds, my normally daily vitamins, and I'm like, if I just took the whole bottle.
I wonder, like, or just be like, I wonder how many Advil PM it'll take for me to just go to sleep and not wake up.
That
Yeah.
part.
You know, like, and that's just quote unquote
That's
normal
normal.
hormone
Yes.
level person. Because social media is very interesting. I've seen people talk about like my intrusive thoughts be trying to win. So yeah, so imagine fighting.
Two piece of the biscuit.
Yes. Right. So imagine
I can't
imagine that
I can't imagine
where
that.
physically your hormone levels are just so out of whack that
yeah.
you cannot fight the intrusive thought. You cannot fight the intrusive thought. Wow. I feel like I had to ask you something else, but just like thinking about it. Okay. So your treatment obviously that you chose was therapy
medication.
and medication. Because I think, of course, being a Black woman and, our faith and kind of things, we tend to hear other people say, well, just
Everything you can't pray
you
away.
cannot pray away everything.
Everything you can't pray
You
away.
cannot pray away everything. And
Can't walk it away.
yeah.
You
No,
can't eat it away.
no
Yeah.
amount of walks in the sun
No.
will
Will
help.
help.
And so I think that's where it's super important to have people, not just when we talk about these support people, we're not just talking about people in the delivery room.
No.
These are
No,
the
no,
people
no.
that will follow you
Yeah.
until
Yes.
until your baby turn 2. You're still these people are
Like,
still here.
here.
These people
Still
are
here.
still here being with you and supporting you. And I think you have to have people in your corner that are willing to say whatever you need to do to get better.
Yes.
That's what
we
we're on
need to
board
do.
with.
Yeah,
That's what we're on
and
board
we're all
with.
on board
With no judgment.
with no
With
judgment.
no judgment.
Hey there, Laborhood gang. It's Shay, one of your co-hosts of the Laborhood Podcast. We're so excited to share one of our partners with you, Hello Bello. Hello Bello is a game changer for your baby and parenting needs. Co-founded by Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard, Hello Bello believes there's no such thing as other people's children, and we love just that philosophy. Hello Bello offers premium baby care, personal care, and household products at affordable prices because they believe that every child deserves the best. Here's something special just for you, our amazing listeners. You can get an exclusive $15 off your purchase using the code THEL
or by using our referral link in this episode's description. It's a win-win. You get to enjoy Hello Bello's premium products at an even better price, and by using our code THEL, you're supporting the Laborhood Podcast. So just head on over to hellobello.com and start shopping and saving. Now let's get back to today's episode.
Like, what's so crazy is in our friend group, even when I was going through it, and I know I just talked to Shay, like, I never had this moment, like, of feeling like, how do I explain this? Even though I let Shay know, I knew that if something ever happened to her, she would let somebody else know, and I still had my village.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if I was too scared to be like, yo, Bria. So, or if I was too nervous or worried about how it would make someone else feel, especially during their hard times.
Yeah.
But I knew that my village had me. So it's important to know there's a difference between, you know, friends and friends and a village. Big difference. I can love you and talk to you and do this, but it's those people who can be with you when it's like down and dirty and ugly.
In the thick of it.
In the thick of it. When everybody's having their moments where, you know, everybody's shots, and we're crying by the end of the night.
Once or twice.
Maybe that happened to us before.
Maybe. It's those types of friends. You need those type of people. And if you realize that you've surrounded yourself with people who are only there for you when it's a good time, it's important to know what family is going to be there for you.
Yeah.
Because family is most of the time going to be there for you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gives me chill bumps
I
every time I think
know.
about it.
I love that we're talking about this. So we're going to kind of like transition back into, there are some things that
Can help.
Also help kind of screen for something like this.
Yes.
And I don't know if you took going back to this, you did, and you lied. So be honest, God, you got to be honest. So there is something that we use. We do it in the hospital, and I think you actually get it again at your 6-week postpartum visit, and it's the Edinburgh Postnatal Depression Scale.
Yes, the EPDS.
Yes, and I will tell you guys, at the hospital that I'm at now, you know, in admission, we used to have to ask those questions like out loud, da-da-da-da-da. We now have iPads to where you give it to the mom, they answer the questions on their own, and then that flows over into the computer. So only the nurse is seeing it. And I'm so interested to see how much of an influx we're going to see in the honest answers, because even the social questions like, do you have problems transportation, getting food,
safe at home?
Do you feel safe at home? All of those questions are asked on the privacy of that iPad. Only the patient sees it, they answer it, they give it back to you, and that's it.
Wow.
Nobody else has to hear the question. And because I even find myself sometimes having to...
I'd be like rushing it.
And also wording a question. Because sometimes when I hear a question, it doesn't sound like what I'm reading.
Right.
And so it gives the patient an opportunity to like actually like sit and read the question and answer it in an honest way. Yes. And I think that's big.
Huge.
That's big. Because maybe you don't want your partner to know that you don't sleep well at night because you're worried about things. Right. And you're just telling them that, oh, no, it's fine.
It's fine.
I'm
fine.
You're fine. You're okay. But in that question, it's like, girl, I ain't slept 2 days this week. Like, you know, just worried about things.
Yeah.
And so it kind of lets us know on the other end that like, hey, you know, she scored
elevated.
She scored a little elevated on her EPDS. And then we let postpartum know, because then once we build that rapport with your provider, then your provider is aware that like, make sure we give her this again at her 6-week visit.
Yes.
And there are other ones that they give.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I started with an Edinburgh, and then they moved to a PHQ-9,
mm-hmm.
which assessed my anxiety. And then they moved to what's called a CCNC. It's like all postpartum, like all kinds of things. It's more than just like alcohol, tobacco, drug use, abuse, physical feelings, all of those things. And so they moved through all, like I feel like I had a good doctor team who kind of knew me a little bit. It was like, she ain't telling the truth.
Yeah. Girl, you are lying.
Somebody's
lying in here. Somebody is lying.
Right.
But it's so good to be honest on those skills, because it lets us know that like, hey, maybe we're going to send you home with this pamphlet. Mm-hmm. And if you get to feeling a certain way, There's a number that I circled and highlighted.
Yep.
Just give them a ring. You know, you're not doing nothing. Just talk to them.
Yeah.
Let's let them know how you're feeling.
Right.
Because that could really start you so much earlier
Yes.
than we're a month out. We're 6 weeks out. Whereas before you left the hospital, we could have been like,
Yeah.
maybe let's talk to her in 2 weeks instead of the 4 or the 6.
Yes.
You know?
And when I see postpartums, that's literally the first I ask them. You talked about how it kind of started from even before you gave birth and your delivery experience. And that's one of the first questions that I ask. Like, how do you think your delivery went? How do you feel about that? And then my next question is, how are you adjusting to having a new baby at home?
Yep.
If you are one of my patients, please tell me the truth because I want to get you the help that you need.
Because there are resources out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are resources
Yes.
out there. And if your provider call and be like, hey, I got this patient, you put her at the top of what's your 8 a.m. tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because I'm sending her.
Yeah.
I'm sending her.
I have messaged, so one of the facilities that I work at, they have like an in-house, almost kind of like a therapy. It's like talking to your aunt. She's amazing. And I have literally walked out of a patient's room and messaged her and said, call her today before 5 because she needs help.
Yeah.
And here's also an ambulatory referral to we have like a postpartum team of doctors that if you need to be on medication and you want to breastfeed and this kind of thing, that we automatically refer them out. Y'all, we care about y'all.
Yes.
And we worry about y'all when we go home.
Yes.
And we think about y'all even when y'all don't think that we're thinking about y'all.
Yes. Tim really hit the nail on the head. You're like, I wish our patients knew how much we thought about them.
Yes.
I wish, like, I had a patient the other night, 19, baby number 1, delivered. Her friend that was there, friend had to go to work. It was morning. It was over in the morning when she delivered. She was there by herself. 19 years old, woman of color. She wasn't black, but I think she was like a Latino. And I'm like, I really want to know how she's gonna do. I still, this was like last week, and I still was just like, gosh, I hope she's doing okay. So we think about you guys,
We
and
do.
not just after you have that baby, but forward
on.
how you're transitioning, how you're doing at home. Because again, I think I like picked her up from someone, so I'm not 100. I don't even think I ended up taking her postpartum because it was at the end of the shift.
Right.
But it's just like, I really hope she's doing good.
Yeah.
I really hope she's doing good. I've had a very young black woman come in. This was like a couple of years ago. I still think about her till this day. Spontaneously conceived triplets. She was young. I don't even think she was taking like the public transportation to her appointments. I think about her still this day because now those triplets are almost 2 going on 3, and I'm like, wow, I wonder how she's doing.
Yeah.
So those people, you think about them. You really do think about them because you want the best for them and their baby.
Exactly.
Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. You really want the best for them. I feel like I've been leading the conversation. Sorry, I'm gonna be quiet.
It's okay. No, you're fine. You're fine.
It's really organic.
She's saying that I talk a lot outside of this as well. I'm usually the one yapping outside of this as well.
You're fine.
So I'm glad you brought up like the different types of screenings that they have for women with postpartum, and of course, like you said, it's easy to lie to their not just in postpartum. It's easy to lie to your therapist in regular life because I have been ready to say something to my therapist. I was like, I'm not even gonna lie because I was about to. I was about to lie to you. I was about to say that
everything is fine.
I was about to lie to you,
And it's not.
I was about to lie to you about the situation and be like, that's actually not how I'm feeling about that. Let me go back and I'm gonna tell you how I really feel, and then we can discuss after that.
The first step on the road to recovery is acceptance.
You gotta tell them the truth. You gotta tell them the truth because they can paint this picture and it's like
they can only help you but so far.
Yep.
If it's not the truth, because they might think on paper you look okay. Yeah. On paper you look okay. So yeah,
tell the truth.
Yeah. So let's say I think just we talked about treatment of postpartum depression, but I think even just baseline, whether you score a 0 on the EPDS, or you score, what is it, like 13 or something like that?
Anything above 10
Yeah.
needs more
I
help.
think
Highest I've seen was a 20.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh, let me get you the in-house therapy.
I was gonna say, let's
Yeah.
not
Is that
let
okay?
her. Let's
Yeah,
not
she's
discharge
not
her
leaving
just
right
yet.
now.
Is that
It's not-
okay? Yes, it's okay. I'm
Let's
gonna
not
right-
discharge
stay
her
right
just
there. You want
yet.
a snack?
Yeah.
You want some crackers?
Right. Let me get you a little something. Let me get you a little something, girl. We gonna get you squared away.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there are things that you can, or there are things, just, looking at the research, there are things that you can do. Like we said, once you have crossed that barrier or cross that line, you can't,
It's not
walks
something,
in the sun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
yourself.
gonna help.
But
But like during the baby blues era,
that baby
Yes.
blues era, for sure, things like getting adequate sleep, which we talked about earlier in the season, those first 48 hours, establishing that norm, getting rest when you can, avoiding major life changes. So our friend Desmaine did move into a brand new house,
Brand new
right?
house. Right as she was having a baby.
She had a baby.
It was supposed to be a month before.
So the plan was for that to be already established,
Established,
which I'm sure if she is anything like me and getting things organized, I would have lost it walking into the house and things were in their place and it's a baby in here.
It's dirty.
Yes.
It's a brand new house.
It's dirty. So again, so avoid major life changes.
Yes.
Which there are some things that you cannot help, of course,
Yeah.
but if you can,
Do that.
Do them.
do that. So avoid major life changes. Adequate nutrition, which you talked about, eating good, comfort food. Girl, we'll lose a baby weight later.
If eating is gonna
Eat the pasta, girl. Eat it.
if you're gonna have worse thoughts about eating the pasta later, like, okay,
Nah.
maybe not. But if you want the pasta, you want the pasta now. Eat the pasta, girl.
Eat it.
Eat the cake, anime.
Eat it.
That's you. I'ma eat it.
Eat it.
Positively.
Yes.
Positive.
Positive.
Yeah, please. So adequate nutrition, sunlight. Y'all know about seasonal depression?
Ooh.
Open the blinds. Just every
Let
single
the sun
curtain Open the blinds. Open the curtains.
Let it in.
Let that sunlight in, because
Go for a walk.
those vitamin D levels. Listen, I couldn't wait till
In the
daylight savings
toilet.
ended. I couldn't wait. 'Cause,
Baby, seasonal
it's
depression
dark all the
had
time.
me in a choke hold.
And so imagine having a baby during.
I can't even.
during that.
I can't. I physically cannot
Yeah.
imagine that.
Yeah, and so when the sun is out, let it shine.
Let it shine. Let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine on you, baby. Let it
Please.
shine. Let it shine on you. Skin to skin contact.
That was
Yes.
a constant for me, actually.
Yes.
That did
Really?
help.
Yes,
that
because
did
it gets
help.
the
It's
oxytocin.
producing the happy hormone.
Pew, 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 pew. Try to get those levels up.
Right.
Support groups.
Support friend groups.
Whatever that support group looks like.
Facebook support groups. I
I have a thing about Facebook mom groups.
do too.
Me too.
But
I will
in
not be joining
good-
one. Just putting that out there.
And I won't either.
No,
But
no,
I
thank
also
you.
I'm weird about people that I don't know. So
I'm not, and I still don't want to
I
get
don't
one.
like strangers telling me how to live my life.
I understand that. I received that. I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
See?
I haven't heard anything good about them.
I didn't even think to look it up because of all the negativity.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have never heard anyone be like, I heard this great thing in this Facebook. It's always like,
Some foolery.
yeah,
Somebody
there's
said my kid wasn't Montessori.
Yeah. What? Somebody said my baby was slow because because she wasn't
Stop.
walking at 7 months.
No.
What?
Okay.
Just very, very like judge. It can be very
It's
judgy
judgy,
in there.
very
It can be
judgy,
very
very
judgy in
judgy.
there. And if that's gonna cause you some girl, get out of
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Leave that group and be like, yeah, I'm good on that.
There are also in-person mommy support groups.
Yes, and those are
For the
so
free.
great.
For the free ski.
just RSVP and show up. That's it.
You don't even got to RSVP.
Just walk in.
Public
Yeah.
Health Department.
See, look at that. A plug. Just walk in with your stroller.
Come on.
Hey y'all.
Can I get that paper for the support group?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Is
Yes.
that this time and on this day?
Yes.
That's it. So
And like you said, the health department, there are resources that your hospital can offer.
Yeah.
There are resources that your doctor's office can offer.
yes.
there are friends who work in various locations that can get you the help that you need.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is be willing
to open your mouth and be honest. You have to tell them that.
The Bible said, no, I'm
okay.
just messing with
Here she go.
I'm messing. I mean, for real.
Oh, God.
You have not.
Oh, all right. What is in a Players Club? Closed legs don't get fed. Okay, sorry.
That was a jump.
Oh, we love that movie, guys. Okay, we love that movie.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
I'm pulling it together. Y'all crazy.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Gotta get with you.
Listen.
I mean, it works.
Listen. It applies. Okay,
It
It applies. Okay. So what we talked about so much.
We talked about so much.
We talked about a lot, but I think, we know what intrusive thoughts, but some people don't know that that's an intrusive thought.
Yeah.
They just, because I remember back in, I was going to say this, I was a really big, I'm a big Oprah fan. And so back in 2003, 2004, 5, somewhere in there.
I think it was 05.
When
we were,
Brooke Shields
came
out.
Yeah.
And she got on the Oprah show and told her story about her postpartum depression and how, she would see these things of again, big Oprah fan. So I remember this episode so vividly. And she talked about how she's like, I had this vision of my infant daughter, hitting the wall and sliding down the wall. She was like, I didn't throw her. She said, but I could see it. I saw it happening so vividly. And that's when she was like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this? And so she really opened up that door for women to start talking about, postpartum depression. Now, we wouldn't be who we are if we didn't make note of the fact that Brooke Shields is white, and Brooke Shields is rich.
Oh, yeah.
And so those two things give her access and resources to she is looked at a very different light than our 20-year-old Black, Hispanic, brown
baby
woman who comes into
no support at home.
with no support at home.
Living in her garage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Or her car.
Or in her car or in a shelter. And so I think we as an obstetrical community, as a healthcare system, which just hearing that you are Luca's almost 2 and you're just now getting back to who you are. I can't imagine women having to go back to work at 6 weeks.
Jesus Christ. That's all I have to say. It was guilt every single day.
Yeah. And adding on to what you already had going on.
The drugs
Already
work.
I don't know why postpartum, maternity leave is not a year, but
to be at least a year.
because
Listen.
people who don't have the same hormones
are making the rules.
are making the rules.
That makes
Yeah.
so much sense.
Yeah.
It's important to vote, friends.
in your local elections. Okay, anyway.
Anywho's.
But I will say, just recently, the state of North Carolina and other states, I think it's up to over 40 states have expanded Medicaid to
yes.
cover women up to a year. Shout out to the VP. Shout out to Kamala Harris. But, expanding that Medicaid because now these women are able to get not just prenatal care, but postpartum care up to a year.
Yes.
Up
And
to
that
a year.
includes therapy if they need it
Look
or
at that.
medication.
Look at that. I think that's such a big thing to start shifting the light and the idea of how long it takes a woman to get back to who she
normal.
was or
Yes.
that new normal that she is going to be after she's had this baby. So I think that's a big step in the right direction with that and expanding Medicaid for that long. What have I missed? Is there anything else?
No. If you are someone or know someone who may be suffering from postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, or even just intrusive thoughts with suicidal ideations, the number is 988. And try and get some help.
Yeah, give them a call.
Yeah.
Give them a call.
That's it.
Don't-
911. 988.
988. Because I don't feel like you're overstepping.
No.
If you know someone, don't feel like you're overstepping because you would much rather err on the side of precaution and get in there early than...
And they will thank you on the other side of it.
Absolutely. Because they might be like, I just didn't know how to tell anybody. I just didn't know how to tell anybody.
Or I didn't know how to recognize it and couldn't.
Or I didn't want to.
Or they didn't want to. Or they didn't want to because they felt like they needed to uphold some standard. Yep. Some standard that they had even sometimes just set for themselves. Sometimes nobody else held them to that standard. They held themselves to it. They held themselves to it.
Any advice that we've talked about a lot, obviously, but any advice that you would personally give to moms or dads or
if you ever have those alarm bells in the back of your head whenever you're seeing or hearing the wrong thing, just make note of it. I was actually listening to a book on my way to be with you guys, and it was just about emotional health and emotional intelligence, and something that they said on there really kind of brought home everything. And if I would have had this book or listened to this book while I was going through it, it would have right there. But it was it's by Jenny Lee, and they said feelings are something that we have, not something that we are. And emotions are what make us human, but don't define who we are. And just because you're overwhelmed or scared or anxious or whatever name you want to put to the emotion, it doesn't mean that you're immature or weak or stupid for dealing with that emotional turmoil. And oftentimes we, as women of color, see emotional turmoil or have been told that it's a sign of inadequacy. You aren't inadequate. And you're not alone. It is okay to get help. And it is okay to take the med or don't take the med. But it's okay for you to ask for help so that you can heal, so that you can be okay. Because only you can be there and work through that. No one else can hop into your brain and do that for you. But you're important and you're a part of the bigger picture. So we need you.
It's a perfect title for this episode.
Yeah, I love that. I love
You're not
that.
Okay, and that is
okay.
That is
You're not okay, and that's okay. Well, Des, thank you
so much for
coming and joining us. I can't wait for this episode to air because I feel like it's gonna spark a lot of conversation.
Hopefully it does.
A lot of conversation, and I think it will definitely save some women from letting those thoughts win. From letting those thoughts win. So as always, guys, I am Bria, your nationally certified inpatient obstetrics registered nurse.
I'm Shay. I'm your board certified nurse midwife.
And thank you for joining us here on the Laborhood Podcast. You are free to go.
Bye.
Bye.